Thank you for joining us now. Let's take a look at the equities market, the performance of last week and what to expect for the week. But first, let's take a look at the market last week. The market closed bullish during the weekend ended February 3rd as the all-share index appreciated by 2.95% all through the week. The market capitalization crosses 54,000 psychological mark. White market capitalization set you at 29.52 trillion naira respectively. Well, of course, let's bring in our guest analyst now, Ambrose Omodion, our Chief Research Officer, Investor Consulting Limited. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Frank.
Good to have you again. Now, I know last week or Friday we'll talk about how the week was bullish. Do we expect to see that trend this week? That's number one question. And then, of course, what are the likely, drivers to that is expected, or in terms of the sectors that would drive the market this week? So, but let's start from last week first.
Yeah, actually, I would say that the market performance for previous week for me is expected. If you understand my style of analysis and how I see market, people say you are too optimistic about the market. I say it's factors or data that tells you what's going to happen in the market. Then you now take advantage of that data or factors to take your decision. Yes, what we saw last week for me is a good one. From the first day, that was in November, when the market ignored the first rate hike of 100 basis points. On the first in January, the same thing happened. And you can forget, from that November to this period is the earning season of the market. November was the end of the year seasonality. People were positioned that Santa Cruz ahead. Now we're seeing figures that came from companies, and these figures beat investors and analysts what expectation. It tells you that those companies that perform such that put such numbers, expect to see a good corporate action. That is what's changing the psychology of investors in the market. And like I said again, if you remember that when it comes to equity investment or bond market investment or fixed income, whatever we call it, it is the rate and the time that matters. In equity price is the price and the time. And now that we're in the earnings season, which is the peak of earnings season in the Nigerian market, because we have many companies.
So you're saying for equities, this is the time.
This is the peak, because we have about more than 75% company that has the December as year end. Because this is year end, between now and March, they were announcing what they're going to reward their shareholder for having faith in them. And because it's coming, that is what we want to do. Because as it comes, for example, if last year GTB pay you 2 naira 80 kobo, and they're paying you 3 naira this year, and the price is selling, you're having about a yield of almost 12%, and that will take you less than 3 months to make that, to get that kind of return, plus additional capital appreciation into the for that. People are like, let's go to the fixed income market, the equity market, and come back. Because yes, if you look at the whole scenario, because government want to borrow, who are giving salary, yes, I come back to the market, but the decline in rates has not shown that yes, they want to borrow at a high rate. But I'll tell you, because you want to borrow, you must attract people to bring that money or adjusting you. That's why I said investors in the market that should take advantage of this window we have. Because when they start adjusting rate in the fixed income market, they're about to be what circular flow of fund leaving equity again back to what the fixed income. Now that the market is at this stage, take advantage of what you are seeing before the CBNs or the MPC start adjusting rate. Because when they start adjusting rate again, I'll tell you this is going to affect the equity market. But for now, because of the earning season, and also company that has good fundamentals and future prospect of growth, especially put your money, like you just said, as we speak now, this is another new week already. We have seen the market open on a positive note. Market now crossing 15 years high. If tell you that if a market has crossed 15 years high, tell you that something is behind that move. For the last 3 straight years now, I've seen our market in the green. Tell you that this company at on the exchange have performed expectation, and also that is what have also supported their payout, because it's your payout that will attract people. If in 2020 you pay 10 kobo, this 2021 you are paying 20 kobo, that naturally people now hold back to your store and they will not be selling, even though things are changing. People are saying, because of the headwinds and the weak macroeconomic data we are seeing, it's not driving sentiment away from the market, because there's something we are staking at stake. The dividends are at stake. Let's take that dividend first before we now see whether there is election certainty, whether there is weak macroeconomic data. These are the things. But that between now and the election, only a week to the election or two, we might see a mistrend or cautious trading. But for now,
so what you're saying is that we're likely to see this trend continues even until election time.
Yeah, like I say, a week to the election, we'll see cautious trading finish.
There are also issue of concern about the global, rating agencies, outlook on Nigeria's economy, does it have any impact or investors' confidence, particularly with foreign investment portfolios in Nigeria? Because
actually,
recently we saw Moody's downgraded, even 9 banks, and of course Nigerian economy, or as regards the debt ratings. Now S&P also, it's on board at the moment, downgraded the outlook for the economy as well. So will it affect the confidence of investors?
Actually, I tell you that if you are in a home, when the power take light, where there's your door, you can really pass through. But a foreigner that enter that room, when they take light, they have to sit down and wait until there's light. The foreign investors or the foreign agents, they are not in Nigeria. They are just seeing us from and giving us a figure and attaching it to it. But the market has changed because the shareholding, the holding structure of the market has changed. I mean, the foreign investors are not holding much in our market because they are the one going to use all this grading or downgrading or upgrading to take decision when they are coming in. But because the market is dominated by local investors and international investors in Nigeria, they understand the terrain where they are playing. But for those that want to and kind of approach outsiders, foreigners want to go to international market to raise funds, even the government or the banks that are downgrading, you pay from your nose because of that downgrade. But if operation here is still in order, it's just because of what is happening, insecurity and those stuff, we understand. But once you get our election right, the same organizations that are downgrading us are the ones who are going to upgrade us again. Why? Because reform will come to the economy, changes will. Because we understand the terrain, there's something at stake we are looking at. I tell you, that's why all the things that come in, market is not responding to it. Even though when the sovereignty was first downgraded by Moody, I told my colleague that let's look ahead. We're going to see the bonds on it now. Moody have done for the sovereign, for the bonds. Now S&P is coming up. We're not worried. Let's take our dividend first. We are just with time. But
and that's is that because your confidence is because we have domestic players playing more in the market than
yes. Because foreign investors, they don't use this. Now they won't bring their money to the economy as to speak now. Until get now with all this rating, they will hold back their phone. If you want to approach them to give anything, they just say, oh, the risk in your environment is high. You have to pay higher premium or higher interest or higher rate for you to get. That's what the implication is.
Okay. Before we talk about this week, what to expect for this hour, just want us to quickly take a break, and then when we return, we will look at the equities market for this week. We'll be back in a moment. Please stay with us. Well, glad to have you back now. Ms. Ambrose, let's wrap up with this. Last week we saw the financial services industry led the activities with about 3.64 billion units of shares, which was valued at 7.18. You have the trading top three, top three equities. You have Universal Insurance, Guaranty Trust Bank Holding, you have Zenith Bank. Now, what should we be expecting this week to happen this week? What are your expectations in the equities market this week? Would this this particular equities still be in the top trading?
If Universal is not there, but I believe the Zenith Bank and GT should be at the top trading for the week. Why I say so? I've said it many times here that the banking sector is the most consistent dividend paying industry, and these two companies you mentioned, Zenith Bank and GTB, they are leading in the first year banks, and they are consistent. And for that, you can see that boom, the PFAs have more confidence in the big names, and also for me, this rate what you mentioned will still continue there. But also all those high cap stocks that we're expecting, a good corporate action also will move, because we saw what happened last week that the Steplat gained about almost 20% in 1 week. That trend will continue. I believe that market will remain in this direction, but I like to tell people that this is not the time for you to hold on to your position. Once you are in profit,
you can sell.
Take your profit. Why those that are not in position, once you pull back, you buy in, because don't forget that market will not remain in uptrend forever. It's not going to remain in that trend forever. That means when you see this opportunity, take advantage of it.
Okay, all right, let's leave it there.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time, Ambrose Samodian, Chief Research Officer, Investor Consulting Limited. See you again tomorrow. Or will I say in the week?
No problem. Thank you. Thank you very much.
All right, still to come after the break, countdown to 2023. Elections as Naira crisis and fuel scarcity continues to get worse as experts raise concern over its impact on the economy. Well, let's take a moment and we'll be back to discuss this. Please stay with us.